Hello everybody, today is Ash Wednesday, the start of Lent as we look towards Easter and focus and set our hearts on Christ. And I'll be honest with you, this is the first year where I've actually grasped and been focusing on this celebration. Up until this point, I always just thought it was a Catholic thing that the Catholics did. But no. Essentially, what Lent is just looking towards Christ's death and resurrection. And one of the key aspects of Lent is fasting. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not good at fasting. In fact, I can probably count on one hand the amount of times that I've fasted up until now. And that's not good. And I think it comes with a wrong view of what fasting is and what the expectation for fasting is. Because for me, it's easy to think of fasting as asceticism, right? Back in the early church history, asceticism was not good. It was these people who would mutilate themselves, who would starve themselves, deprive themselves of sleep in order to sacrifice the material so that they can just look at God and not be distracted. That's not what this practice, this spiritual discipline is. That's ultimately what fasting is. It's a discipline with a spiritual benefit. And it's expected of each of us, I believe. If you look in Matthew 6, verse 16 and 17, it's very simple. And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, and their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received your reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face. And it might be easy to hear those verses and just think that it's in a specific context. It's just Jesus talking to these individuals and saying, hey, fasting is something that is typical Jewish practice. So when you do that, do it like this. And yeah, you could probably get away with that. However, if you look earlier in the chapter, the truth sort of becomes unavoidable. And verse 2, thus, when you give to the needy. And verse 5, and when you pray. And these are two things that we don't really argue about doing nowadays, do we? There's nothing in me that's deep down saying, oh, I don't want to do that. And in the Greek, the word for when is the same for all three. When you give to the needy, when you pray, when you fast. It's expected that we will be doing that. It's expected that believers will be doing that. And I think the hesitation, I know for myself when it comes to fasting, has been in not understanding the purpose, the point of fasting, what it's actually for. It's not just forsaking food, because all you're doing if you're forsaking food is you're just making yourself hungry. It's worthless. It's pointless. It's not, forsaking food and then just sitting on your phone all day or watching TV. If you're with your spouse or your friend and you decide, no, I'm going to focus on them today. I'm going to put aside these distractions. I'm going to take a day off work so that I can be with my friend or be with my spouse. But then you spend the entire day just sitting on the couch, on your phone, not even with them. That's not good. And for me, that's how I viewed fasting. I viewed it as giving up something, but then doing nothing about that. Giving up food, but then just going about the rest of my day trying to distract myself from that. And that's not the point of fasting. The point of fasting is quite simple. It's sacrificing something material for a spiritual benefit so that I can better focus on God, that I can look to God and ask for Him to sustain me, help me through this. And that's quite simply what fasting is. And that's something that I am planning to do for these next couple of weeks, and I hope you are as well. Fasting from caffeine, from TV, from your phone, from food, whatever it may be. fast from those things, not just so that it can be replaced by other idols, but so that you can turn to God and be filled with a spiritual benefit. That is what fasting is. So, when you fast, do it like that. When you fast, look to God as your sustainer. Ask for him to teach you. Ask the Holy Spirit to be opening your heart and your eyes to something new from him. When you fast, be focused on Christ.